This week in Jamaica Now, where is Jayden Smith, 12-year-old Manchester High student, missing since leaving school on September 26? Shock as Parish Court Judge is found dead at her home in Trelawny. Healthcare workers threaten disruption over the suspension of a junior doctor for running in the general election. And NCB senior executive Dane Nicholson charged with rape. I'm Neville Graham, and this is Jamaica Now. The guardians of missing Manchester High School student, 12-year-old Jayden Smith, are pleading for his safe return as the search continues with no confirmed sightings since September 27. Jaden's aunt, Anne-Marie, and her husband, Omar Thompson, who have raised him since he was 6, says their home in Wales, Manchester, has been shattered by his sudden disappearance. Through tears, they beg for his safe return. Jaden was last seen on the afternoon of Friday, September 26, at Little Caesar's food store in Mandeville, where CCTV shows him buying food, giving away his umbrella. It's also reported that he told classmates that he was waiting for a cousin, though relatives say that cousin was not at school. Later reports suggest he was walking with another student and a woman near Mastermax supermarket. Neither person has been identified. His guardians said Jaden had been involved in an accident at home the day before when his toddler cousin was injured. However, they insist he was not scolded and showed no signs of distress. Principal of Manchester High, Jasford Gabriel, described Jaden as a bright student. He spoke with the Gleaner on Saturday, September 28.
There are designated taxi services, but they didn't see him yesterday. He didn't report to them. We're not aware of any particular circumstance from a school standpoint that would have been affecting him. He started out well and has been adjusting quite well. And like I said, joined up with the cadet unit as well. So nothing out of the ordinary. And that's why we are hoping that he's safe.
Meanwhile, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says government, with support from UNICEF, is advancing an anti-bullying campaign for schools. It follows suspected student suicides linked to bullying. UNICEF is the United Nations Agency for Children. On Wednesday, the minister stressed the need for deeper solutions, parental engagement, and international standards.
We're already actually quite advanced in the work with UNICEF in looking at an anti-bullying campaign that gets to the heart of the issues. So remember, we don't just want to put a Band-Aid on a problem. That's not our administration's approach to anything. It's about understanding deeply what the issue is. And we have many different sets of issues that are occurring. You have the person who is doing the bullying, who often is coming from a particular environment, and that we have to do work there.
Members of Jamaica's legal fraternity are mourning the sudden death of Trelawny Parish Judge Ruth Lawrence, a nearly 30-year veteran of the judiciary. Police say the 59-year-old was found in medical distress at her Coral Springs home Tuesday evening and later pronounced dead at the Falmouth Hospital. Her husband, 47-year-old musician Prince Smith, told police he knocked on her door at about 5 a.m. Tuesday morning for their usual run but got no response. After several attempts later in the day, he reportedly found her in a bathroom. He said she told him that she had ingested a poison. Smith said while cleaning the apartment, he discovered a bottle of paraquat, a highly toxic chemical herbicide used to kill weeds and grasses. Smith said he rushed her to hospital at about 7 p.m. after she became unresponsive. Meanwhile, Chief Justice Brian Sykes described Lawrence as a dedicated and compassionate servant of justice. Opposition spokesperson on justice, Zuleika Jess, and the Cornwall Bar Association also praised her fairness and professionalism. Police confirmed she had been on sick leave and noted signs of recent emotional strain linked to work-related matters. And the Jamaica Bar Association has raised concern about the circulation of sensitive details surrounding the death of Trelawny Parish Court Judge Ruth Lawrence, calling it a violation of her dignity and data protection rights. President Tanisha Watkins said the Data Protection Act ensures privacy and dignity, even in death, and prohibits the careless release of personal data. She condemned the circulation of a police report revealing private information, stressing that such actions undermine the humanity of the deceased and the grief of loved ones. Watkins urged authorities to investigate and called for restraint and compassion in handling such matters. A senior executive at National Commercial Bank NCB, Dane Nicholson, has been charged with multiple sex-related offenses involving a female employee. Nicholson, who heads the bank's fraud prevention division, is facing 6 counts of rape and 2 counts of grievous sexual assault, stemming from incidents that reportedly occurred more than a year ago at the complainant's residence. He appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on September 16, where he was granted $1.2 million in bail and is scheduled to return on November 24. NCB confirmed awareness of the allegations but declined detailed comment, citing internal procedures and respect for privacy. Nicholson and his attorney, King's Counsel Peter Champagny, also declined to comment. Former INSPORTS financial controller and well-known party promoter Andrew Wright has been found guilty in connection with a massive $222 million fraud scheme at the state-run sports agency. The verdict was delivered Tuesday in the Home Circuit Court by Justice Anne-Marie Lawrence Granger following a trial that lasted nearly a year. Wright, who staged popular events such as Chug It and French Connection, was convicted on multiple counts of conspiracy to defraud, corruption, and engaging in criminal transactions. His co-accused, Rudolph Barnes and O'Neill Hope, were also found guilty on several conspiracy and corruption charges. The 3 men who were remanded are to be sentenced on November 21. Prosecutors credited teamwork and international cooperation, while defense lawyers signaled plans to appeal. The case stemmed from a 2017 internal audit that uncovered fraudulent check encashments, leading to a major organized crime and anti-corruption agency investigation and arrests. 3 female co-defendants, Andrea Picton, Shireen Farquharson, and Janique Mills, were acquitted in recent days. INSPORTS is the government agency responsible for implementing Jamaica's national sports policy, with a focus on grassroots and primary level development. The murder trial of Police Constable Noel Maitland continued this weekend in the Home Circuit Court with evidence centered on surveillance footage and a disputed sofa. A CCTV technician testified that Maitland visited his Chelsea Manor apartment complex in St. Andrew on July 14, 2022. He reportedly asked to check if a woman was seen leaving his unit between 11 a.m. and midday on July 12. The technician later learned the missing woman was Maitland's girlfriend, 24-year-old social media personality Donnelly Donaldson. Maitland is charged with murder and preventing lawful burial. Donaldson was reported missing on July 13, 2022, 2 days after she was last seen at Maitland's New Kingston apartment. Her mother previously testified that Maitland picked up Donaldson from her home on July 11. The following morning was the last time she heard from her daughter, who could not be reached afterwards. The trial is set to continue next week. Some healthcare workers in the public sector appear restive over the interdiction or suspension of Dr. Dixon, a junior resident at Maypen Hospital, for running as a candidate in the September 3 general election. A letter circulating among staff calls the action victimization, accusing the Southern Regional Health Authority of trying to damage Dixon's reputation and finances. The authority is the government body that has oversight for the hospitals for 3 parishes, including Clarendon, where the Maypen Hospital is located. The letter urged workers and well-wishers to wear black and threatens a go-slow with only emergencies to be accepted if Dixon is not reinstated by October 6. The letter described Dr. Dixon as a respected doctor who has served Maypen Hospital for nearly 8 years, particularly in pediatrics, and accuses the authorities of putting politics above patients. Dixon, who ran unsuccessfully for the People's National Party in Clarendon North Central, was indicted under the public sector staff orders. The rules bar political participation. Meanwhile, the People's National Party has condemned Dr. Dixon's interdiction. Spokesperson on Justice Zulika Jest says the move undermines democracy and violates constitutional freedoms. The PNP has demanded Dixon's reinstatement and urgent reform of the staff orders that bar public servants from politics. The governing Jamaica Labour Party has hit back, accusing the PNP of hypocrisy. Senator Marlon Morgan, a member of the JLP's Communication Task Force, noted that in 2020, the then General Secretary of the PNP wrote to the political ombudsman to have the JLP's Rhoda Moy Crawford sanctioned for entering representational politics, despite having only a few days left on her contract with the state-owned Hart NSTA Trust. He also cited similar cases with Robert Morgan and former councillor Dean Jones. Morgan says Miss Jessie's criticisms are vulgar. He says the Dixon issue is an example of the PNP's preparedness to apply convenient principle and barefaced hypocrisy to score political points. Jamaica's absence from a recent United Nations vote on Palestine is drawing sharp criticism from members of the diaspora who argue the country has turned its back on its human rights legacy. The resolution would have allowed Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas to address the UN General Assembly by satellite after being denied a U.S. visa. 145 countries voted in favor, while Jamaica was among 34 that did not participate. Community activist Corey Shearer, son of former Prime Minister Hugh Shearer, said Jamaica's non-vote silenced its people at home and abroad. But Dale Holness, former mayor of Broward County, Florida, defended the decision, saying the government is in the best position to know why it did not participate. Other diaspora voices are split, some calling the absence a betrayal, others describing it as diplomatic caution. And opposition People's National Party has criticized the government's posture at the United Nations, accusing it of failing to show solidarity with Palestinians amid the ongoing Gaza conflict. Opposition spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, Senator Donna Scott Motley, pointed to Jamaica missing the vote and also not joining other countries in walking out on the General Assembly address of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Jamaica has always been respected internationally for standing firmly on matters of justice and human rights. To be absent from the vote and to remain seated while others registered protest is a clear departure from that proud tradition. Our silence sends a wrong signal to the international community and to the Palestinian people who continue to suffer. The government's passivity weakens Jamaica's moral voice and undermines our legacy of courage. The People's National Party reaffirms our commitment to a foreign policy guided by justice, human dignity, and respect for international law.
However, Foreign Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has rejected opposition claims that Jamaica failed the Palestinians. She said the Holness administration's recognition of Palestine in 2024 shows its commitment to a two-state solution.
By recognizing the state of Palestine, Jamaica strengthens its advocacy towards a peaceful solution. I had also affirmed that the decision was aligned with Jamaica's strong commitment to the principles of the UN Charter, which seeks to engender mutual respect and peaceful coexistence among states, as well as the recognition of the right of people to self-determination. Senator Scott Markley and the PNP do themselves and these complex issues a disservice when they suggest that the government of Jamaica has failed to speak strongly on the issues when this is not the case. It's unfortunate that the PNP has continued their pre-general election trend of trying to create their own narrative, even when the facts clearly do not support their false statements.
The Constituted Authority has rejected an application by defeated People's National Party candidate Paul Buchanan to void the results of the September 3 general election in St. Andrew West Central. The seat was won by Jamaica Labour Party leader Dr. Andrew Holness, who polled 7,054 votes to Buchanan's 4,953. Buchanan, who filed the application on September 16, argued that there was an upsurge of violence and irregularities on election day that undermined the fairness of the poll. But the Constituted Authority ruled that the evidence presented did not meet the legal threshold under the Election Petition Act. The decision comes after weeks of public discussion over Holness's late-stage victory. After 87 of the 105 ballot boxes had been counted, Buchanan was leading by close to 100 votes, but the Director of Elections confirmed that Holness pulled ahead with the remaining boxes from Seaward Gardens Primary and Infant School. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram @Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook @Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Neville Graham.